which is very common in southern India, which is… we have Kul Devtas, a particular deity created for a particular kula. Kula means a smaller segment of a caste. There are many fantastic processes even today. If you saw the things that I saw when I was very young, I'm telling you, you would have lost your mind, many of you. Because I saw all kinds of things and sat there like this, it is of a higher intelligence than you.
This will happen, the future of medical science is this.
You will go crazy, believe me. You will lose your mind.
These things were very significantly relevant when deities were created in a certain way. When I say deities were created in a certain way, so all this has become one big hodgepodge. It became one big hodgepodge because the culture was created understanding the phenomenal complexity of life. But the instruments and the institutions which were to transmit this from generation to generation got seriously disturbed in the last 1800 years because of invasions and things like that. Otherwise, this is a very sophisticated science. Not everybody went to every temple at one time. There were some temples which were for general well-being where everybody went. But for specific purposes, people went only to their Kula Daivam. Even today, remnants of that are there, people are going, but the Daivam may not be created anymore, understanding the science. So why the Kula Daivam is, today, even if somebody died 100 years ago, they can dig up something and if they found one tiny little bone, they can take it, go to the laboratory, check the DNA, check your DNA and say, this was your grandfather. Yes or no? Even if somebody died 10,000 years ago, if they find a remnant of something, today you can take the mummies in Egypt, which are over 4,000 years old, you can take the DNA of this mummy and trace it down to somebody in Egypt who is right now protesting on the street, that this was Tutankhamun's progeny. Possible, yes? The science gives you this access. So similarly, we identified, you must understand this is relevant only when everything else was maintained. You know, there's a whole lot of struggle going on in Haryana about the Kap panchayats, saying that these cousin brothers and cousin sisters should not marry, this is sacrilege. See, I do not know whether they're aware of why they're protesting. But if they're truly aware, you have to respect it. They may be just protesting because you're breaking the norm. But essentially why this was done is, they maintained the genetic track way back. For thousands of years, they maintained the genetic track in their own way. Never mixing it up, never doing anything which will disturb the track so that the progeny comes out well. And not only that, you can create a certain energy which travels through the track. Everybody in your kula need not go to the temple. You go and pray, everybody benefits because all of us is connected. Right now, this will happen, the future of medical science is this, that if they find some pure genetic material, when we say a pure line of genetics, they can do it like this, that they can find something that works for your DNA, just spray it in the air. All the people who have that type of DNA will benefit instantly. So, they understood this and they maintained this genetic line so strictly and they established an energy source for this particular DNA, for this particular kind of genetic trend. It is the most scientific way of handling it. Science gone bad, technology not transferred properly. Today it's all mixed up, so it will not work the same way. If they had maintained those genetic lines, you could make it work like that. Your choices have become more important than maintaining those kind of things. I mean, society has changed, so those things have become irrelevant. But when things were maintained like that, it was a very relevant thing. It is a wonderful understanding of life, a fabulous understanding of genetics and how it functions.
But there are other deities which is very common in southern India, which is probably these days lost in north, is we have Kul Devtas or Kula Daivams. That means a particular deity created for a particular kula. Kula means a smaller segment of a caste. So here the genetic map of this kula is kept and the deity is consecrated to serve only that type of genetics. This is why this fight in the villages, any inter-kula marriage or inter-caste marriage means why they're struggling is, then you won't have a god of your own. You will become outcast. Well, that's taken on a social dimension and an ugly forms, that's a different matter. But essentially it is coming from this fundamental understanding because you have created an energy form which takes care of this particular genetic information. If somebody who doesn't belong to that comes, it won't respond. So these things were done in a very scientific way for different purposes. There are many fantastic processes even today, but mostly lost. So it is better to create universal things which are not based on genetics, but based on the evolution of one's energy. That is what we are doing. That is why these new temples, which will not recognize you by genetics, it will not recognize you by your parentage, but will recognize you for what you are right now. So, both these things were done right from ancient times, but most of the temples were done for genetic material because that is what people would fund. They want a specific temple in their town for their clan, so that their well-being, they created those things. A few were created for everybody's well-being, so they were always named differently to make you understand a little bit. Here, let us say there is one Mariamman temple, it will have a prefix name of a particular kula and then that. But let's say some other temple like let's say Kashi Vishwanath, it's Vishwanath. That means he is for the entire world. He is not recognizing you by your genetics. He is recognizing you by who you are right now in terms of your energy, in terms of your evolution, where you are right now. In that context, Dhyanalinga will not recognize your genetics, he doesn't care whether you came from your mother's womb or dropped from heaven, we don't care. Because we don't think coming out of your mother's womb and dropping from heaven, one is superior to the other. It doesn't matter how you came, how are you right now, that's all that matters. So, this is a different dimension of consecration. So when we talk about deities, and about you enhancing your perception, you don't go there to enhance your perception. There is a process, what to do. You just do that process, you may get enhanced. Oh, so it is iffy, is it? It is not iffy, it depends on where you are, accordingly it'll enhance you. If you get enhanced for what you are not ready, you will go crazy, believe me, you lose your mind. If you saw the things that I saw when I was very young, I'm telling you, you would have lost your mind, many of you. Because I saw all kinds of things and sat there like this. And even people around me thought I have some psychiatric issue because I sat seeing all kinds of impossible things. So if you develop a perception to see something which your mental framework and your energy framework is not ready for, you will be shattered. So you never go seeking a particular level of perception. You just go do the process. The deity is been created in such a way, it is of a higher intelligence than you. You allow it to work with you. You just do your sadhana as it is prescribed. This is the access, this is the code. Just make use of it, and how much access you find, let's see. Depends on who you are.